Hello? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello, hello? Yes? Hey guys, please say something in the chat. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Just say, hey, Julian, we can hear you. Hi guys, hey. Where you guys from? Okay, well, no answer. I guess you guys are from Earth. Okay, cool. Hello everybody. So we're gonna start this live stream. So welcome for this live stream on how to find your first highly paid blockchain job. So a lot of people have watched the free workshop series of 3 videos before, and I'm super excited to follow up with this live training. I'm going to explain what I call the M-load fire method. And hey guys in the chat. Hi from India, Croatia, Pakistan, Bolivia. Wow, like from all over the world. This is awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to explain what I call the M-load fire method. This is the method that I've used to find my first blockchain job paid 100K. And at that time, I had almost no experience in blockchain, but I still managed to find my first blockchain job in just 1 month. So anybody can use this method and obtain results quickly, no matter if you are already a developer or not. So in the first part of this training, I will explain what is the M-load fire method. Then I will introduce you my blockchain course, 6-figure blockchain developer, and I will tell you how you can use it to apply the M-load fire method quickly. And finally, at the end of this training, there will be a Q&A section where you can ask me all the questions you want. Like some more people in the chat. Hi, Jack Scotter. Hi, Springboot. Hi, Barcelo Antonio. Hi, Ivan Strike. So I'll do a quick intro about me. So I'm Julian. I've been in the blockchain industry since 2016. I've created many courses and tutorials about blockchain on my YouTube channel, Eat the Blocks, and on my private website, Eat the Blocks Pro. I've also worked for many blockchain projects, including, let me see if I can share my screen somewhere. Share. Can we share screen? Not sure. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So yeah, I've also worked for many blockchain projects, including I've worked for Lending Block, which is an exchange for crypto assets, so Bitcoin against Ethereum, etc. I was the first employee. We built a professional trading platform. I also worked for a couple of blockchain and DeFi projects like FutureSwap, which just raised $1 million. ZFi, which is funded by the Y Combinator. And before that, I used to be in the dark side. I used to work in finance, and I didn't like it, so I changed to the tech industry, and that led me to blockchain. But actually, I'm happy I work in finance because now it helped me to understand DeFi. And finally, I'm originally from France, but I've lived in a couple of countries. I've lived in New York, I live in the US, I live in Hong Kong, and now I live in Taiwan. All right, enough about me. I don't want to be self-centered. So we are going to talk about your problem. Hey, some more people in the chat. And hi from India, hi from Chicago. Hey guys. So here are some typical problems you have when you want to become a blockchain developer. So you learn very simple projects that have nothing to do with the professional project you need to do to get hired. So you think you are ready to work professionally, but in fact, you are not, and that's a big issue. Then another problem is that tutorials are not up to date. Hey, I have a question in the chat. Do you need to be an expert? Okay, question I'm going to answer at the end of the video. So tutorials are not up to date. Blockchain moves really fast, and tutorials just become outdated quickly. So it's just so frustrating to spend a lot of time on a tutorial just to realize at the end that they use an old version of Solidity or Web3 and that you have basically wasted your time. Yeah, so that's really a big issue that happened to many people. Yeah, by the way, guys, I see all the questions in the chat. I will answer to all of them, but at the end of the video. So you can also become overwhelmed by the amount of things you need to learn. So you have many courses that teach maybe 3 or 4 different blockchain like Hyperledger, Tron, EOS, Tezos, and in the end, you end up knowing very little about each technology, and that's terrible. Then there are some teachers that just talk about fluff and are just so shallow technically, and the information density is just so low. And even though they talk a lot, in the end, you don't learn much. And we see this a lot on YouTube, of course, not on my channel. And finally, you have a lot of courses that just bore you to death with just too many technical detail, but they never give you the big picture. They don't explain the full process of how to find your first blockchain job. And after you finish the course, you have absolutely no idea how to use what you learned to find your first blockchain job. And this is actually the case for the majority of programming courses. So that's a big issue. Hey, the new guys in the chat, Mudassir, Saron, Bucks. So with all these problems, we need to find a solution. And the solution to all of these problems is 3, 2, 1, the M-load fire method. So this is the method that I've used to find my first blockchain job, paid 100K, and you can absolutely achieve the same result by reusing the method for yourself. So the philosophy of this method is that the end goal is to find a job. The end goal is not to learn blockchain development. You will still learn blockchain development, but only because you need it in order to achieve your goal of finding a blockchain job, and you will learn blockchain development in a smart and efficient way. So that's really a different way to look at the problem. Okay, so we're going to start by the first step of the M-load fire method. So that's what I call M. So M is all about planning, and that's extremely important. Many people skip this step, and that's a big mistake. So if you skip this step, or if you get it wrong, it's going to be much harder to find your first blockchain job. However, if you get it right, finding your first blockchain job is going to be way easier. So in the M step, you will position yourself on the job market. There is something that is a little bit counterintuitive about this, and most developers make this mistake. So most developers think that they should position themselves in a very broad way because they think it will attract more companies. For example, you could position yourself as a blockchain developer, and logically, all companies who are blockchain companies would be interested in your profile. However, it doesn't work out that way. If you have a broad or a vague positioning like this, it's going to be harder to really make an impact. So some companies will look at your CV and say, okay, blockchain developer, interesting. But does this guy have anything special that we are really looking for? And maybe for some company, this sort of positioning is enough. But if you really want to have an interesting and high-paid job, you will need to receive several job offers. And to receive several job offers, you need to be impactful. And to be impactful, you need to be specific. So instead of positioning yourself as a general developer, you will need a more specific title. So there are many ways to position yourself as a blockchain developer. And we don't have enough time in this video to go deeper, but that's something that I explain in great details in my blockchain course, 6-Figure Blockchain Developer. More details on this later. All right, so that's it for the first step of the mload fire method. So the second step is load. So next step, let me scroll up my note here. Okay, so when you apply for a job, the context is already in place, and usually it's too late to change anything. Before you reach out to blockchain companies, you want to make sure that you have done all the prep work, and that is what you are going to do in the load step. So the most important thing is your blockchain portfolio. You want to have a rock solid portfolio of professional blockchain projects. However, as a beginner, you probably have no idea what kind of blockchain projects to pick and how to make it look professional. So first, you don't need a ton of projects. You can just have a couple, but you need to focus on a single one that you will specifically highlight. So the biggest use case in blockchain right now is DeFi, or decentralized finance. If you have never heard of DeFi, that's basically finance reinvented on the blockchain with spot contracts. So currently, there is close to $800 million locked into DeFi, and it's growing quickly. And one of the coolest kind of DeFi project is what we call decentralized exchanges. So decentralized exchanges allow traders to buy and sell Ethereum tokens, or Ether, in a decentralized way, without any third party, using only a smart contract. There are a few examples of decentralized exchanges like IDEX, IDEX, Uniswap, DYDX, and many others. If you could build a decentralized exchange like this would be a major asset in your blockchain portfolio. And this would help you a lot to impress blockchain company. So that's why I recommend you to build a decentralized exchange for your blockchain portfolio. So I hope that this gives you some idea of what to build. Hey guys in the chat, Eldosol, Beresh, Patil, Praktip. I will answer your question after, guys, don't worry. So the last step in the mload fire method is fire. So in this step, you need to finally reach out to blockchain companies. So there are different kind of companies, bigger ones, smaller one, and depending on your positioning, you will be more attractive for a certain kind of company. So you want to be very specific and target the company that specifically corresponds to your positioning. For example, if you are a specialist, do you think you are more attractive to bigger company or smaller company? Well, you're going to be more attractive to bigger company because they are the one who have more sophisticated need and who can afford a specialist. But for smaller company, they don't have enough money to afford specialists. They prefer people who can do everything. So if you're a generalist, you'll be more attractive to smaller companies. So it's very important to keep this in mind. So you can send your CV directly in response of job offer, or you can directly contact some blockchain companies, even though there isn't any job offer. Actually, most of the job bucket is hidden. There is no job offer at all. It's just that you have to do a little bit more effort. So you have to find these companies and reach out to them. And of course, you need to prepare yourself for blockchain interviews. So they will ask you questions about how Ethereum work, how the Ethereum virtual machine work, how Solidity work. I've done a lot of blockchain interviews, and I know all the questions they ask, including the trick one. And I put a lot of answer in my course. Okay, so we don't really have more time to explain the mload fire method, but in my blockchain course, 6-Figure Blockchain Developer, I explain everything in great detail. So my goal with this course is to help you become a professional blockchain developer as fast as possible. This is not my first blockchain course, but this is by far the best one I've ever done. So I use my past experience of the last 3 years teaching hundreds of students on Eat the Blocks Pro and hundreds of thousands on my YouTube channel to refine readjust my teaching example to make them as smooth, as clear, as efficient as possible. And I am super proud of the result. So let's see what is in this course. So in the first part of the course, I will teach you the theory. So I will teach you blockchain and Ethereum. I will teach you how wallet work, what are hashes, what are transactions. So really, if you don't know much about blockchain and Ethereum, no problem. There is no prerequisite. We're going to start everything from the beginning. Then I'm going to introduce a little bit what is a decentralized application, what is the architecture of decentralized application, what's the development process, so you start to have an idea, okay, how we build application on top of Ethereum. After that, I will list all the blockchain development tools, so you'll have an idea of which development tools are used and for what. So Ganache, Truffle, Remix, MetaMask, Infura, Etherscan, etc. After that, we'll continue with the theoretical part, and I'll introduce you to smart contract and Solidity development. So we will use Solidity 0.6, so that's very important. Most of the other tutorials and blockchain course, they use Solidity 0.5, which is outdated. So I use the latest version. And after that, we will start our first project. So we'll do a first mini project, which is a multi-sig wallet. So we'll code first the smart contract. So in this smart contract, several people can create transfer, and when enough people agree on a transfer, they can send this transfer to someone. So this can be useful, for example, in a family. If you have like several members of the family who want to manage money, this can be useful for a lawyer, for example. So that's a really good example of what is an Ethereum smart contract. After that, we will learn how we can test our smart contract with Truffle. So that's super important because once you send your smart contract to the blockchain, you cannot modify its code. So you need to make sure that there are absolutely no bugs. And as a professional developer, companies will expect you from being good at test. If you just say, oh, I don't care, I just code the smart contract, but I don't test it, that you will not be taken seriously. So even though, yeah, I know it's not as fun as writing a smart contract, this is still very, very important. And after that, we will code the front end of the Multi-Sig Wallet. So you will learn how to create a web interface so that end user can interact with your smart contract really easily. For this, we will use JavaScript, React, and Web3. So that will be your first decentralized application, and that's a really good first step. Now, another thing which is important is how we can deploy our smart contract and the whole decentralized application to mainnets. And actually, there are many blockchain newbie that they just learn the basic of smart contract. They know how to develop locally, but they don't know how to deploy to a public testnet or mainnet. And in an interview, if you show that you don't know how to do this, it's not going to work. So I'm going to show you step by step how we can deploy a full dApp, so smart contract and frontend. We're going to deploy this to a testnet, to a public testnet, and to mainnet. For that, we're going to use Infura, that some of you may know. We're going to use Netlify, which is a hosting solution for frontend. And after that, we're going to do the main project of the course, which is a decentralized exchange for ERC20 tokens. So this is really, I think if you just have one reason to buy this course, this is it. So this is going to be a major asset for your portfolio. And after, I'm going to give you a link so you can see how it looks like. But it's beautiful. I really put a lot of effort into it so that when employers look at this, they will feel really impressed. So with this decentralized application, basically traders will be able to buy and sell ERC20 token in a decentralized way without any third party. So you have the order book, which is on the smart contract that will match basically the buy and the sell order. And yeah, so the smart contract is quite advanced, but that's really good preparation. We're gonna test the smart contract. So this is going to show you how you can do advanced testing in Solidity. So I'm not talking of like basic like testing stuff that you can find everywhere, but this is gonna be really next level stuff. And after we're gonna build the front end, which is really advanced. And yeah, this is gonna be beautiful. And after that, finally, I'm going to explain in detail the mload fire method and basically give all the details that I haven't given in this presentation. And that's it for the presentation of the course. So now, I know that some of you are new to programming, and they need some extra help to learn the basics of web development. So I have an add-on for this course that you can add to your purchase. Well, I will teach you the basic of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. This is a 3-hour live training, and that's basically a very efficient way. If you are interested in blockchain, but you feel like you're just missing some knowledge in web development, I got you covered. Yeah, you can still take it. So now there are also a couple of bonuses and goodies you get just for the first 7 days of the launch. So the first 5 person who buy the course get a free 30-minute call with me. And for everybody, I will do a free review of your portfolio and your CV. So that's very valuable to have the feedback of a senior blockchain developer so that you can really fine-tune the way you present yourself to blockchain companies. And the price that you see for the course is the price of the launch. This will be changed after. All right, so now I will give you a couple of testimonials so you can find this on the sales page that I will give the link just after. Basically, one former student of Feed the Blocks Pro now works at Aragon, which is a major project on Ethereum. We also have among the alumni the CEO of FutureSwap, which is a up-and-coming DeFi company that just raised $1 million, a famous DeFi project. We also have the CEO of Instadap, which is one of the most famous DeFi projects. So, and we also have like many other people who find job after my training. So that's enough of me just talking. So now we're going to start the Q&A section. So please don't be shy. If you have any question, it's the time. I'm going to go back a little bit and see like what kind of question people asked before, because I know some of you asked question before. So let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, so Mathieu, Marie-Joseph, do you need to be an expert to get an Ethereum blockchain developer job? No, there are different level, like there are junior blockchain developers, senior blockchain developers. So if you're junior, you're going to do some junior stuff. So that's really like in any segment of the industry. You don't need to be a super top expert. Actually, a lot of people, they make this mistake because they think like a blockchain development is to do blockchain core development, which means to build the blockchain itself. But this is not what I teach. What I teach is how to build application on top of the blockchain, which is 95% of blockchain developers do this. The same way as most web developers, they build application on top of the browser, but they don't build the browser themselves. So you don't need to be like this crazy hardcore developer, no problem. Okay, someone told me, how can I learn to become a blockchain core developer? Right, this, I'm really sorry. This is not what I teach. You can try to contribute to some issue on Go Ethereum, for example, but really, there isn't any course that's going to teach you this. We should have at least 1 year of experience working as a web developer. Okay, so, well, this is not really a hard rule. It's better if you have like 6 months to 1 year, but if you are willing to do the work to learn the basics of web development, which is possible with my course, because I have a package that I call the Jump Starter package, where I teach you the basis of web development. If you are willing to learn the basics and you do a couple of projects, then it could be enough. Then let me see. Other question: tutorials get outdated fast. Yeah, this is true. You haven't talked about the hack that happened weeks ago onto DeFi platform. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about this. Like hack on DeFi platform. Like, I mean, that's just something that happened, but this is still a young industry, so we have the right to make mistake. I mean, obviously, we don't want to make mistakes, but this is not because you have a hack that the industry is going to be totally screwed. Like blockchain is very resistant. Like many times people said, oh, the blockchain is gonna die, the price are crashing, blah blah blah, this is the end. And really this never happened. So don't be just too scared because of a hack. That's a shame, but there's gonna be some other hack and the industry will learn, and yeah, we'll keep learning. How much do you make as a dApp dev? Very good question. So personally, for my first blockchain job, I was making $100,000 a year. So what can happen is you have part of your compensation in a hard cash, and another part which can be a bonus given as tokens. So that's why you can have really nice compensation. Of course, it's also depend on your seniority. So if you are more junior, I would say a very wide range would be to say, maybe you can make between 50 to 100K, but I would say, yeah, like if you have some nice project on your portfolio, like 100K is absolutely not impossible. If you live in the US, it can be even more. If you are in San Francisco, it can be 140, 150, but also the cost of life is higher. So yeah, everything is proportional. Do I need to know web development in order to learn blockchain? Well, I already answered that, but you can learn web development with the Jump Starter package of my course. How to learn fast? Which blockchain platform is best for beginner, Hyperledger or Ethereum? Okay, so just focus on Ethereum, forget about Hyperledger. Most of the jobs are for Ethereum. This is the future. And even for enterprise blockchain, actually, what happened is there is this new project which is called Hyperledger Besu. And this is basically Ethereum that is being ported to the enterprise so that you can make some private network with Ethereum. And so I believe really like Ethereum is eating the world of blockchain, and there will be no space left for other blockchain, really. Now you see even other blockchain projects that start to adopt the technology of Ethereum. So yeah, I would just focus on Ethereum. Then what are blockchain fundamental topic that everyone should be aware? Yeah, so you need to be aware of the structure of the blockchain. So what are blocks? What are transactions? What is an address? How a wallet keep the private key, how a wallet sign transaction with private key, how does mining work? So those things are not specific to Ethereum. They are more specific to blockchain, but in general. And actually, I find that that the resources about Bitcoin explain this pretty well. But in my course, I also give a short explanation so that you don't have to waste time to like find the right resource. Let me scroll down. Well, I have a lot of questions of Pradeep. How can I become a blockchain core developer? Okay, well, this I've already answered. Let me scroll down. Why don't you give 6-figure blockchain for free during the COVID-19? Well, I mean, my landlord is still expecting the rent. Could you suggest an open source project in blockchain that we can contribute as beginners? This one is a tough one. The problem with open source is that this is not very beginner friendly, Like if you're a beginner and you say something like, hey, I'm a beginner. Do you guys have any issue for me? Like, you think you're being helpful, but the maintainer of the project will think, oh God, like I have to explain everything to this guy. This is tiring. Like, I mean, maybe some of them will be nice and will do some hand holding, but many of them won't. So you have to take some initiative if you want to do some open source. You can try to improve the doc, try to improve the test, but this is something where you have to be self-driven and very independent. So if that's your personality, that's great if you can learn that like this. Personally, I like to do a combination of first I take a course about a new topic, and then once I start to get it, then I start to look at open source project. But otherwise, that's a bit tough. Yeah. No. Let me see, what are the salary right now? I already answered that. Can you list out some more blockchain companies? Okay, so in my course, there is a huge list of like maybe 100 blockchain companies that you can apply to. But out of the top of my head, you can think of the main companies for DeFi. So you have MakerDAO, you have Compound, you have, I don't know, Synthetics, Set Protocol. Then you have like companies that build the infrastructure of Ethereum. So you have the Truffle framework, you have Open Zeppelin, but yeah, you still you have many more. Then Flash Loan and DeFi is gaining attention. Can you please cover DeFi in your course? Well, actually, the project of my course, the Decentralized Exchange, is an example of DeFi. And that's very important because decentralized exchange are really the basis of DeFi. So yeah, I would argue that that's a pretty good example. There is more projects that are built on EOS. Is that true? I don't know if there are more projects built on EOS, but when it comes to significant project with traction and user, that's definitely on Ethereum. DeFi is very young tech. Yeah, so the fact that it's a very young tech, this is actually for beginners. Strategically, you want to pick young tech, because if you pick some tech that have been around for decades, it becomes super hard to really make a dent in the industry, because now you are competing with senior that have been working in this for decades, and you arrive with your like 1-2 years of experience. You say, hey, I'm here. Hey, can you give me that junior role? Yeah, I like 100K remote. Yeah, and companies are like, no, it's not gonna work. So yes, like this is really your opportunity to pick a young industry, because that means there are no experts with a lot of experience. So yeah, I would take it as a positive point. I want to join your LF course. What do you mean? You mean the 6-figure blockchain develop course? I will put the link. Oh yeah, actually, I haven't even put the link. Let me put the link. Like finally, you guys can check it out. Yeah. So that's the new course that I'm releasing. What are the most question asking the job interview? Okay, Jawad. Okay, so you will have a lot of question about solidity. So they ask you question, for example, about variables, like you need to explain like private, public keyword, the same for function. Then in a more complex question, they probably ask you to do some assembly. They might ask you to do some gas optimization to show that you understand the Ethereum virtual machine. So yeah, the question are a little bit more advanced than what you will find in the simple tutorials. Yeah, so this is something that I cover in detail in my course. There are 3 videos. Total is 1 hour just on that, on preparation for blockchain interviews. So that's really comprehensive. As a new grad in computer science, no experience, what suggestion would you give us to start our career in blockchain dev? Yeah, so you are a graduate in computer science, so that's definitely a plus. A company that hired new grads. Yeah, so ways to attract company despite no experience. That's the same as if you didn't have a graduate degree in CS. Is you need to have project on your portfolio, and if possible, not just some toy project, but something serious, something that might take you a few weeks to build. So yeah, like pick a topic that really interests you. Well, I gave you a clue with decentralized exchange, but you can do something else if you want. But the key is it has to be advanced. I would pick something in DeFi, and yeah, I would work on it for several weeks. What to learn first, Solidity or web development? I would suggest web development. So if you want, you can just be a smart contract developer and not touch the web at all. But I I fail to see how you can be credible like that, because if you will still need to use some tools of web development. For example, if you use Truffle, which is the framework for Solidity smart contracts. So this is a framework written in Node.js. If you don't know nothing about web development and you start to struggle because you don't know how to use the CLI and you don't know what is Node.js, etc., you're not going to be credible. So you do need to have like a thin layer of skills in web development. So yeah, like maybe spend a couple of days or a week on that, and then you can start to learn Solidity. By the way, Solidity as the first programming language that can be a little bit dangerous, because this programming language is very different from the others. So I don't want you to start to have like a bad habit. So personally, I would start with JavaScript. Yeah, like learn web development, a bit of JavaScript for like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then move on to Solidity. Do we require real-time project experience? What do you mean real-time project experience? You mean like professional project? I mean, professional project, of course, it's always better. But this is never clear. You can work on a personal project and make it advanced so that it's not clear that it's a professional project anymore. Like you could always say, if you want, oh, like that's something I did for a client or something, or you don't give detail. But if you make it sophisticated, if you make a personal project have some professional feature, it still counts. So yeah, it's just really up to you to make your project really advanced. Sebastian, is this replacing DAB 30? Okay, so DAB 30 is another course I have on EdoBlogs where we build 30 decentralized application. No, I would say that DAB 30 is more a complement of this new course. So this new course is really like, if you want to have the result as fast as possible, so you take this course, and after, if you want to keep practicing building other project for your portfolio, then you can take DAP 30 and build even in and have even more experience. For the enterprise application which run outside of Ethereum, how to integrate with Ethereum smart contract. Okay, so this is a bit of a vague question, but basically I think you mean Oracle. So yeah, Oracle, I think that I used in DeFi to feed data from outside the blockchain into the blockchain. What's the difference between your six-figure course and your previous one on Teachable? Okay, well, I think I just explained this question before. This one, the new course, is much more to the point, much more efficient, and also it has a big part on finding your first blockchain job. So really, the goal of this new course is to find your first blockchain job. When I look for jobs, all of them ask for experience. What would you do? Having project doesn't mean experience. Sorry for being persistent with this topic. No, but it's no problem. This is an important topic. Well, if really you don't feel comfortable with just doing project, you could try to to do some freelance work. Usually freelance work is easier to get than getting your first blockchain job. So you could check out on some freelance platform like Code Mentor, I think freelancer.com. What is this? This Elance? No, Elance is, I always get confused. No, Elance was before, but Upwork, yeah, I think Elance became Upwork. You could go on this website. The problem is that, to be completely honest, a lot of customers on this website, they are very shitty. They're shitty, cheap customers that don't pay, that expect the moon. So don't have any crazy expectation with these guys. Since you cannot negotiate the price with this guy because they have like very money conscious, try to negotiate the scope of the project. So like, let's say they have a very small budget, I don't know, like 1K. You say, okay, well, instead of your dApp doing this, it will do this. And so for you, it's still reasonable. No. After that, hey, Julian, thank you for this live session. Eagerly waiting for your blockchain course. Please give some discount if possible. Love from India. Okay. Is possible. You can also become a subscriber of EtherBlocks Pro, and so if you pay the monthly subscription, it's a little bit cheaper. But the downside is that you don't get access to the course forever. I am a Hyperledger Fabric developer. How do you see its future? I'm sorry, not good. No, I'm a bit tough. But I do think with Hyperledger Besu becoming more popular, I think it's going to eat into the market share of Hyperledger Fabric. So I would say to hedge yourself, start to look into Hyperledger Besu. And yeah, if Hyperledger Fabric end up being not used in the future, then you can just continue with Ethereum. Then do you have web development course? Yeah, so as I said before, so I have a package that you can take with the new course. So this is called the Jump Starter package that include, on top of 6-figure blockchain developer, include also a 3-hour live training for web development where I will teach HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React, all of this in 3 hours. So of course it's a little bit accelerated, but it's designed to be as efficient as possible and prevent you from wasting a lot of time with like online bootcamp that teach you web development, but they don't know what you want to do with web development. So like you end up learning front end, back end, like Ruby on Rails. It's totally irrelevant for blockchain. So me, the training I'm going to give is like extremely super focused for blockchain. No. How much is your course? Yeah, check out on the link. Like here you can see it. No. Sage advice. Hey, Alchemist Cam. Yeah, this is my buddy who has a channel on Elixir. You guys check it out if you're in Elixir. No. I just look at the course. It's a very good price, Julian. Oh, thank you. No, we are informatic engineer and a lawyer. Which topic do you suggest us to be specialized? Well, the big thing now is DeFi. So no matter if you're a lawyer or not a lawyer, I would recommend to get in DeFi because really everybody is talking about this on Ethereum, Twitter, like all the discussion is like DeFi. A couple of years ago, when we were in the ICO era, that was still a bit vague. You had like people coming from all different industry and background, trying to see how they can apply blockchain to their niche. So people like in real estate, like lawyer, like supply chain, etc. But now it seems pretty clear that everybody wants to do DeFi, decentralized finance. What does the job market look like during this pandemic? Very good question. So I've actually covered this in another video, but basically, very briefly, a couple of days ago, I don't know if you guys followed, but there was this big investment fund in the US, Anderson and Horowitz, so very, very famous and prestigious investment fund, that announced that they will invest 500 millions in blockchain startups. And that's such a bullish signal. So first of all, this investment fund is extremely well respected. One of its co-founders, basically someone who almost invented the concept of web application. And so someone extremely smart. So if they decide to invest in blockchain, there is a good reason. And also they do this in such a special at such a special time. So it takes a lot of courage to do this. So you should interpret this as very bullish signal. So follow the smart money, follow guys like this, and don't pay too much attention to the price of crypto, like Ether, Bitcoin. Like this is dumb money. Like you don't care about that. Yeah, and I still see many job offers for blockchain. Not even 2 weeks ago, I got contacted by a blockchain startup. I worked for them for 2 weeks. I mean, people are still looking for blockchain development. Can we have the link to see how the decentralized exchange will look like? Okay, so this is actually, if you go on the link of my course, you will see it. If you go down, let me see if I can. This is actually a GIF. Oh, can I post some? No, I cannot upload some image here. Let me see. Copy image address. You guys will be able to see this. Okay, just 1 second, guys. Marvin Evans, is DApp30 included with this? No, it's not. But I can tell you that you're gonna have a lot already in the course. It's gonna probably take you a couple of weeks. And the most important, I think, is really the final project, the decentralized exchange. That's really the best stuff. Your opinion? Your opinion on Ivan on tech and Gregory? Oh, that's a really good one. Ivan on tech, I think that guy is like really a warrior. Like he does video every day. I I don't know. Like that's really crazy. I don't know how you can survive. The thing is, like, okay, like even on tech, like you watch his live stream, like maybe like 5-6 minutes, you have a good time. But I just feel like the information density is just so low. It's just you're hanging out, but you don't learn anything. You just like open like some you open like a coin desk and just comment the news and then just read with you. But I don't think you can say something interesting like this with live stream. Yeah. Anyway, like I like his energy. Yeah. Is this course up to date with the latest blockchain technology? Yes, because I just did it. So Web3 latest version, Solidity latest version, OpenZipLink latest version, everything latest version. And it's very important because like basically almost all the other blockchain courses are outdated. What do you think of Hyperledger? I think I already answered that. Live bootcamp foundation of blockchain. What language do I cover in the course? Web development for blockchain development. Okay, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. It's 3-hour live training, 3 sessions of 1 hour. If I'm a subscriber at the pro version, do I have access to this new course? Yes. If you don't have access, you can send me an email and I will fix this. Will we get access to the course even after? Will we get access to the course even after completing the course? Yeah. I mean, if you buy the course, you have access to it forever. Hey, have you made IndoBlock site yourself? Yeah, well, that's with WordPress, but this is really nothing special. I'm not a designer. I think that's okay. If I had to redo it again, I'd probably use Jekyll or something like this. I hate WordPress. That's shit. Can you describe tasks assigned to you in your first job? Yeah, very good question. So for my first blockchain job, I was the first employee at Lending Block. And so basically, two co-founders described me at a high level what they wanted me to do. And I had to come up with more specific requirement first. So at very small company like this, you have like many different roles. And one of your first role is actually not to code, but to sort of translate high level requirement into lower level requirement. Like your job as a developer in general is to manage details. So co-founder, maybe like they have some big idea about something, but when you start talking with them, you understand that there is more to it than what they think, and maybe that this is actually more complicated. And so this is really your job to make this translation from like maybe 2 or 3 requirements to like many lower level requirements, and there's this back and forth. So we did this for like a couple of days, and after once I wrote this lower level requirement, then I started to implement the smart contract, and I wrote the front end. Then I deployed everything on AWS. And after we did our ICO, and after we had a team of 10 developers, and so my role became more specialized. So you had some guys who were really good at backend, some guys really good at DevOps, some guys really good at front end. And so I mean, you have to specialize in this case. But in general, when you work at bigger company like this, every day you have something which is called the stand-up call. So that's a call of like maybe 10 minutes where you explain what you've done the day before and what you're about to do, and you explain if you have any blocker. And so every day this is the same routine. And after you talk with your colleague on Slack, and every 2 weeks you do what's called a sprint. So that's basically a workstation where you will allocate tasks to different people. And you say, okay, well, during these 2 weeks, I'm going to do this, this, and this. So a lot of companies, they use this way of working, sprint. Okay, so I think that answered the question. Please describe the task assigned to you in the first blockchain job. Blockchain at Berkeley sounds interesting. Yeah, I like what they do. I mean, it's not directly usable by a blockchain developer, but I mean, if you're a blockchain core developer, I guess that's more practical. Do you need to take the course DAP30 after taking this course? No, you don't have to. You can just take this course and you're already ready. But if you feel like you want even more training, then yes, you can take DAP30, and then you have like a huge blockchain portfolio. But what's good with this new course I've done is that we go straight to the goal, which is to do the most impressive decentralized application on your CV, and that's the decentralized exchange. So we don't waste time. We go straight to the goal. Yeah. Do you have any paid DeFi course? No, but so first of all, the course I just released, the final project, this is very much a DeFi project, really. So even though I don't describe this as a DeFi course, actually, this is a DeFi project. So that would be a great first step into DeFi. Now, will I have some DeFi course in the future? Maybe. Then there's this course teaches how to become a full stack blockchain developer in Ethereum. Yes, this is exactly the point. The full stack blockchain developer, that's what you will be. Do I have a course on 1155? I don't have a course on that, but maybe in one of my series about Ethereum token on my YouTube channel. How many projects during this course? There are 2 projects. So a mini project, which is a simple one to make you create your first app, and second one, which is the decentralized exchange for ERC20 token. So you might think that compared to DAP30, the other course, there are much less projects, but this is on purpose, okay? Because what I've noticed is for dApp30, actually, okay, it's good that you have like so much experience, you do 30 dApp, but for some people, that's a little bit too much. So I wanted to reformat everything and make it more efficient. And I carefully thought about these two courses that I put, these two projects in this course, and they already teach you everything you need to know. Really covers advanced use case in Solidity, covers listening to events from the front end. So really, like, you're gonna learn a lot. How long time the course? How long it take? I can take probably will take you a couple of weeks to finish. Yeah. Will Viper soon replace Solidity? No, actually, one of the few projects that was using Viper got back to Solidity. That was a Uniswap. Uniswap version 1 was written in Viper, and now Uniswap v2 is being rewritten in Solidity. So I'm not sure they have a lot of traction, but that's a shame because that's a cool language too. Yeah, course duration. I think I've answered that. It's going to take you a couple of weeks to do it, but if you want the duration of the video, I think you have maybe like a couple of hours of video easy, like, yeah, maybe 4-5 hours of video or even more. But you know what, guys, like, for this course, my philosophy was totally different from dApp30. When I built dApp30, I was a more junior instructor, and I thought that was really important to do a long course. And yeah, you wanna have something for your money, of course. But what I realized is that what people want is to reach a goal in the shortest time possible. So if I can make you become a blockchain developer in 5 hours instead of 20 hours, which one you want? You want the result, right? So that's what I focus on this course. Make it less long than dApp30 and more efficient, more straight to the goal. Hello, Chong Famban. Okay, guys. Well, I think that I've answered many questions already. I think I'm going to wrap it up soon. So does anybody have a question again? Yeah, Robert, thanks to you for being here. That was great to see so many people. You're awesome too. Hey, Kenneth, hey, thumbs up. All right, guys. So just if you missed it, that's the link to the course. Oh, a question here. What's the difference between the jump starter and standard? With jump starter, on top of the basic course, you get a 3-hour training for web development, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. So if you need a refresher on that, take the jump starter. No, which technology? Well, that's written in the sales page, but that's basically the technology of Ethereum, like Solidity, Truffle, Web3, OpenZeppelin, MetaMask. I mean, the usual suspect, really. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that was great to see you. And don't forget that there are some bonuses for the first 7 days of this course. Everything is on sales page. So yeah, great to see you guys and talk to you soon. Bye.